How's it going, everyone? It's another Movie Monday, and today we're going to be talking about a Marvel movie, which is something very rare for me to watch. But this is an old one. This is from 1986, and this one is actually produced by Lucasfilm, which is pretty cool, I have to say. And I really enjoyed this movie. Now, this movie, it's not liked by a lot of critics. A lot of movie critics hate this movie. A lot of just normal movie audience, people hate this movie. But I actually like this movie. I'm with the cult following. Now that I have watched this movie and have seen this movie, I understand why there is a cult following for this movie. It is a fun time. It is just a really fun movie. And if you just set aside all of the, seriousness of this movie and all of that stuff, and you just watch it for what it is, it's just a silly, fun, over-the-top, good time. And I really did love it. This movie stars Lea Thompson as the, I guess you can say, girlfriend of Howard the Duck, Beverly Switzler, and Ed Gale, who is the person actually running around as Howard the Duck. And you also have the voice of Howard the Duck being Chip Zien. So, this movie, first of all, let me just say, it actually doesn't look too bad for what it is. Yes, it's dated, and probably even at the time, there's definitely some effects that don't look great. But when it comes to actually just how Howard the Duck looks and how the actual beak moves and everything, that stuff actually looks all pretty good. I like all the way that stuff looks. And I even like how one of the monsters pops up. I like how his weird, tongue thing looks. So, they did a really good job on some of the special effects. There's one part where he's, sticking his tongue out to, get more energy. He's, shoving it inside of a cigarette lighter. And he's absorbing energy from it. And it's really just well done, the way it looks, honestly. Again, especially for the time. This movie is bizarre, honestly. The story starts off with Howard the Duck getting stranded on Earth because of humans experimenting and not really knowing what they're doing, and they accidentally suck up an alien, and the alien they suck up is Howard the Duck from Duck World. And he's basically trying to figure out how to get back to Duck World. And along the way, the scientists accidentally bring another alien species along that are basically like demons. They're really creepy. They're called overlords, and they possess people. And that's why I was talking about that guy having that alien tongue thing that sticks out. Dr. Walter Jennings was the name of the character, and he was played by Jeffrey Jones. And he did a fantastic job, by the way. I want to say that. He did a fantastic job in this movie. Definitely, when it starts getting into the weird alien possessing him type thing, he sold it over the top, and he sold it well. I liked how cheesy it was. I loved it. I thought it was well done. I don't know. I like cheesy movies. What can I say? But yeah, when you see this alien thing that's possessing him, and you see his, slow transformation, just his body looking worse and worse as the movie goes on, because this alien is just, deteriorating him. It's actually well done, and it looks pretty good. And like I said, the acting is over the top in a way that I enjoy and that I really like. The jokes are definitely cheesy. It's all a bunch of one-liners, but if you have seen something like Power Rangers, you're going to be used to it. And by the way, I just want to say, watching this felt a lot like watching Power Rangers or even Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Next Mutation. It felt like that type of level of, cinematography. It felt like that type of level of acting. It did feel cheesy. It felt over the top. It felt ridiculous. It had a bunch of one-liners. The combat was silly, but enjoyable. It was a fun time, though. And I that's why I think whenever I think about Power Rangers and I think about those old, Ninja Turtles live action, even the movies, they're just silly, fun times, and that's what this movie is to me. It doesn't need to be taken so seriously. It just needs to be taken for what it is. A fun movie that I think is still worth going back and experiencing for yourself to see whether you are going to be a cult follower or someone who swears off all movies for the rest of your life. But I do really enjoy this movie. I love it. I can't wait to watch it again, actually. I really do enjoy it that much. And I will say, there's one controversial thing about this movie that I have to bring up, and that's its PG rating. This movie, somehow, back in the day, got a PG rating. I don't know how it did that, but it did. I don't believe that at the time PG-13 was a thing, so I guess it wasn't enough to give it an R movie, but some of the stuff in there would have definitely qualified it as an R movie, I feel like, even today. So you see you see Howard the Duck looking at I don't even know what it's called. It's like a Playboy spoof magazine, but it's like the Duck Aliens instead, and you see duck boobies. Okay, you see duck boobies. They show you duck boobs. And then when Howard gets sucked to Earth, he's like flying through walls, and while he's flying through walls, he busts through like a bathroom, and there's another duck woman in the bathtub, and her duck boobies are being shown. And it's just like, yeah, this probably shouldn't have gotten a PG rating, if I'm being honest. And it's really weird because it does have this weird tone, like it's trying to be, you know, edgy and mature at the start, and then as it goes on, it feels like it's trying to have like this weird family friendly vibe with the family friendly like jokes and one liners and stuff, and it's just like, what in the world? And then there's the weird relationship between Howard the Duck and the human Beverly Switzler, and it's just like, I know Howard's an alien, but he still looks like a duck to me, so seeing this girl just like kissing on this duck is really weird to me. I couldn't help it. I was just like, I was looking up and just like, I don't know how to feel about this. But, so there is some controversy, I guess, surrounding that area. I just thought that it added to just the silliness and craziness and over-the-top factor of this movie. I just thought it added on to that. And, in my opinion, just knowing how insane this movie is, and just I knew what I was getting into going into this movie. I knew that everyone hated this movie. I knew that people thought this was a bad movie. And honestly, I knew what I was getting into, and I think that made it better. I think it made it better that I knew what I was getting into. I went into this movie with the expectations of this is going to be a silly time, and that's exactly what it was. It was a silly, fun time. There were definitely moments that made me laugh out loud, and I really did enjoy it. And I really enjoyed the music as well. There's a lot of music in this, especially because the main female lead, Leah Thompson, the character she plays, actually is in a band. So there's a lot of music in this, and I actually really liked all the music as well. So let's talk about that review score real quick. So, on Rotten Tomatoes, the critics gave this a 14%, which we can go ahead and round down to a 1 out of 10, which, that's ridiculous. I'm sorry. Like, even if you don't like this movie, no way it's a 1 out of 10 movies. I have seen so many other movies that are way worse than this, because at least this one kept my attention the entire time. At least this one was funny. At least, like, it had good moments. And the audience score is a 38%, which would be basically a 4 out of 10, if you round that up. So, here's what I'm going to say. I definitely agree more with the audience on this one. I think the audience is definitely way more correct in this case. But I think that the score should be even higher than what the audience gives it. I'm going to give Howard the Duck, and maybe it's just because I'm a sick, twisted person, I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10. I enjoyed it that much. I really did. I think it's a fun movie, and I think it's a movie that everyone should at least experience once in their life. Yes, some of it looks outdated. Yes, it is very odd with its mood and with some of its relationships and stuff like that, but I think it just adds to the craziness and silliness of this movie, and as long as you don't take this movie serious, I think you're going to have a good time. So thank you guys for watching. I hope that you enjoyed. If you did, hit the like button, subscribe button down below, and I will talk to you in the next video. Go watch Howard the Duck and join the Howard the Duck cult. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.